how I start this. I'm so awkward in front of the camera. Hi DJC, welcome back to another YouTube video. So today we have Bianca, and you guys probably have seen her around. She's helped out with in the Light DJC camp, and she's helped out with senior girls before. And I thought I'll just bring her along. She's already here. She would feature in this video because B is very gifted in the creative department, and later on in this video we're gonna be kind of just giving you guys, actually not me, but B will be giving you kind of like a tutorial on how to do like calligraphy, like notes, just basically how to express your thoughts during QT or even sermon notes, you know, how to express that creatively and aesthetically. So we're not only here to make this video on how to make your notes look aesthetic and all that, but I really wanted to make this video because I know that personally for me in high school, I struggled a lot with like quiet time and just even opening up, you know, God's word and just spending time with him. So yeah, I wanted to create this video just to, you know, give you guys maybe some even like tips or like guide on, you know, how to do quiet time by yourself. And yeah, we have B here who's also going to provide some wisdom and experience as well, because she is a bit older than us.
Bonnie also has wisdom.
Yes. So we hope with our combined wisdom it would help you and your quiet time journey with the Lord.
Yeah, quiet time is important because it's essentially the way to becoming more like Jesus. Like you know how at the very beginning, like God created men and women to be embodying his image, and it's actually such a big privilege to become more like Jesus. But yeah, you can't like become more like Jesus without actually being like consuming what does that, which is the word. Yeah, if we're not like consuming the word, then what are we consuming? A passage that I'm reminded about is like Jesus, like being in the wilderness and actually going into legit like isolation with the Lord. And then after that period of time, he comes out and, you know, like you probably know the story, like he gets tempted by Satan in like 3-4 different ways. But every time like Satan attacked, Jesus always had something else to say back to, and what he did was he used the word, and it does imply that, you know, what was happening during isolation wasn't just him like sleeping or like hibernate or like watching Netflix, I don't know, but like he was legit like so the wilderness part, like the isolation part, he actually spent the time focusing on the word. And I think for us, like for quiet time, like yeah, it's like our isolation with God, it's like our time to have business with him.
Amen.
So that we can become more like him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me personally, like, you know, we're called into relationship with the Lord, and you know, if you just think about it, you don't develop your friendship or like quality friendship if you don't spend time with each other. You're just acquaintances essentially. If you don't come to him daily or like consistently, it's so easy for the enemy to just feed you lies and to forget about either your identity or the truth. And yeah, that's why quiet time is so important for us as Christians, because relationship, identity, it's all rooted in his word. Alright guys, so the next question is, what does like our quiet routine look like? I reckon going through the Old Testament and New Testament, like the way you read it in quiet time is also like really different. Old Testament, a lot of it's like really like not story based, like historical, what do you call them, like recounts? Or really like long recounts. So like the way you read it, the way I read, it's kind of like a novel. So normally when I do quiet time with Old Testament, I go through like anything ranging from like 1 to like 4 chapters a day, because I'm just like, wow, yeah, it's like reading it like a novel. But with the New Testament, I would probably only go through like one mini segment, and then like max would be like 1 chapter, because there's just so much that Jesus is like throwing at us, you know, or like Paul is throwing at us, like there's just so much in there. Normally I like to do my quiet time in the morning. I try to do it in the morning, but guys, you know, sometimes life happens, so it doesn't matter if you don't do it in the morning. You can do it anytime in the day. But yeah, good thing is to pray before you start reading your word. Yeah, and then I like to put on some like quiet time music, like chilled worship music in the background. I would just follow like the plan that I set out for myself, which is around like 3 chapters per day, and I just progress to that. And then I think like resources that I use are also commentaries. So after I've like read my 3 chapters, sometimes you're like, whoa, what's going on? Like all these like random names and like even words that you're like, whoa, what? A lot of that will reinforce my understanding or enhance my understanding by providing all these like facts and like their wise, knowledge. There's also another app on Spotify called like the Bible Recap. So yeah, they usually summarize like a couple of chapters at once. Recently, Rachel has told me this website called esv.org. So it's got like the Bible on one side and like commentaries on one side. So it's just easier because everything's in one place. But yeah, I find that having extra resources help me understand like what I'm reading better.
Cool.
What does your routine look like?
I think for me, I've actually been pretty bad with my quiet time. Not gonna lie, you have one of those days. It happens, but usually I'd want to do it like so. Like I go like brush my teeth and like get ready during like in the morning, and then like the first thing that I'd want to do before anything else would be to read my Bible. Just because you want to start off the day with Jesus, and then hopefully things that you learn during that morning, like you'll keep lingering in your mind somewhere during the day or the week. So the past, I don't know how long, probably the past year, I've been going through really slowly the book of Matthew. Usually I do like 1 chapter a day, but I think like it depends. Like I feel like sometimes it's 1 chapter a day, sometimes it's like 1 passage, because like you said, Bonnie, like the New Testament, there is like a lot. For me, like my challenge was to really like just take a step back and going back to basics and really like just asking myself whether I even know or whether I even believe what I read. I also use commentaries as well. The main one that I use is Enduring Word. I just found that it was like the easiest to understand. And then how I go through like a passage, it's pretty messy, but I guess that's the point. So if you look here, just feel free to like write all over your Bible, because like it's not there to look pretty. I go really in detail actually, which is why like I take a lot of time. But so the reason why I underline and circle these things is that like usually they're either like words being repeated in the same few passages, like important like ideas, like things that were interesting, or even like marking things that you're not sure about, so they can like go back and look like, what does this mean, and stuff like that. So how I usually write my notes, which we might like talk more about later. So you can probably not read my writing, but so it's like the day, passage, and then I write my main points, like I said before, questions that I had, and then like after I write my questions, I also look for the answers. So it's probably somewhere here I can't really see, and then like applications. So sometimes like you might have things that you want to get out of the passage and apply it into your life. So there's some days where you just want to like rest in His presence, not coming to Him with an agenda, but just really just asking Him, what does He want to speak to you? As you pray to Him. Sometimes you want to sing, sometimes you want to draw, sometimes you want to, read a book. Like even besides from like reading Matthew, I've also been reading like random books. Just really embrace that time with God. Like you're not just coming in just because you want to like learn.
Think about it with a friend. You don't always just like watch a movie. Sometimes you go out and eat food. Sometimes you go on a picnic, different variations, but doesn't mean you're spending, less quality time with them. Our next question is like, what are some struggles that you've had, maybe even as a high schooler or even as just a human being? Even now.
One big thing is time, but I think like sometimes we can use it as a reason, but also like sometimes it's just an excuse for being like look, like technically if I say that I don't have enough time for quiet time, it probably means I'm prioritizing something else more than my quiet time. And so I think that's like a really big struggle, just because I'm like the type that loves to do like other things like work. I don't know, like I like getting stuff done. And so when I'm like in that mode, whether it's to do like uni or like work, I'm always like, yeah, I can like spend time with God later. But usually it doesn't happen. Like when I say that.
I'll jump in then. I think a struggle that I had, even just like recently, but also in high school, was like I remember just like opening up the Bible and I'm like, I learned nothing from that passage. It was like, it's like you just read it and you're like, I didn't take anything in. And you're like, wait, is it because like there was nothing good in there or anything? But I think embrace those moments where you feel like you didn't learn anything. God's still refining your character in the process, because you know, what's it called? Like God sees your heart, like in just trying to spend time with Him, and He loves and He honors that as well. Yeah, I think that was like a big struggle, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a waste of time because I didn't get anything from that. And like, you know, time with the Lord is never time wasted. So, you know, keep that in mind. One of the big struggles that I faced in like my quiet time was distractions. How sometimes when you spend time with the Lord, you realize that like all these stuff come out of nowhere. I think that happens when you're studying as well. It's like whenever you need to get something important done, everything in life just comes to like grab your attention. And I think something that I'm still trying to learn is like how to really just be in like the presence of God, how to be in that moment and completely just like block out those distractions and just give my complete attention to the Lord. I think like a helpful thing that I've learned is just literally just like either airplane mode your phone, or just like chuck your phone somewhere where you cannot reach it. And like if you have your laptop out, just close everything, just shut everything down, just put on some peaceful music. So yeah, I reckon those are our struggles. We hope you learn some experience from that as well. And the next part, B, is gonna teach us how to do some calligraphy stuff. Yay! Do you have any inspo?
Yeah,
journals.
I think what's really cool about like journaling is that like when you like keep collecting them and like you keep like writing and stuff, like over the years, like you look back, or even like in like the past year of content that you write, like you look back and you're like, whoa, like maybe it's like a bit ugly, maybe like you realize that there's some months where there's just non-existent. But I think it's like part of the process and like the journey, and like and it's like really cool to see like what your journey has been like with God. And I think above all, it just shows like God's faithfulness. Like even though there were some gaps, even though there were times where you couldn't write much, like you kept going, and that's because God kept speaking to you.
Sometimes I like feel like writing like a prayer. So like for example here, like, this is a sermon from my church. Clearly I did not have any cool page. Oh yeah, this is, do you see what this is? Reflections on Dick JC Camp.
Oh wow, guys, take a look at that page.
Yeah, just to write like prayer, like passages of prayer points like for each day. I don't do that anymore, but and then, this is actually 15. Oops. But and then I did that, but I think it was just like. And I do a bit of this sometimes, but I think like what I want to show is just like sometimes like, and even here, like, can you see the tape? I taped 2 pages together because I made a mistake in the middle.
How many pages?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day.
It's such a good creative outlet for you to express yourself on what God's.
Okay, if you keep watching this, I'm gonna teach you how to write.
The main gist is that when you write, you usually whenever it's a downstroke, you go thick, and then when you go up or sideways, you like go a bit thinner, so you don't put as much pressure. So if I do C here, pressure down and then up. Down and then up. Down, thin, thick, do whatever.
This is straight. Okay?
No.
See how this is straight. But if you want it to be more like free flowing, this is what I'll do. You see how it's like slightly different because it goes like weep and then weep and weep, weep, weep.
Yeah, so just really like just have fun. Yeah.
Thanks, B, for teaching us all that. If you want some inspiration, you can probably rewind and see what B's done in her journal. Make sure you like and subscribe. What's the subscribe? Subscribe and like. And stay tuned for all the other videos that the DJC leaders are gonna do. And see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
How do I vlog?